Okay, next subject is tax on businesses and income. Just the basic idea is um, how much taxation are you talking about if you're running a business there or you've got a job there? How does that all work?
There is, but I don't know the details on that because I have a business, but it's so small I don't pay any taxes. I think
Yeah.
it's about 13%, but in Chile, the employer pays and files all the taxes. If you have employees, they do not pay any taxes. You pay them for them, which is their retirement, their health insurance, and your income tax. You file that. So as an employer in Chile, you have to have an accountant that files your taxes every month, and at the end of the year, the big tax.
Yeah, I mean, all I've got to say about taxation in Romania is that it very much depends on what kind of business you're doing, because
Yes.
for some businesses it works very well, some businesses it's expensive. If you have a normal kind of day job, you know, it's the taxation and social security and whatever quite high, you know. So, but if you've got a business, then you have some options which can be very efficient.
End user pays the tax, and that tax on all goods and services is 19%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that bumps up, it ends up being 25% after you put all types of whatever in there. But for a business, they charge an individual 19% on their products or their services, and then they pass that on down the line to the next person. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like if I buy a pencil, I get charged. I'm buying 100 pencils. I pay 19% on 100 pencils, 19% on those 100 pencils, and then I want to sell pencils to somebody else, and it's another 19%. It goes all the way down the line to gets to retail, but you push that tax on through. I really don't like
you claim it. You claim it back from the people you're paying it to, right? Yeah. So it's a value. It's like VAT, value added tax. And if for example, are people like, for example, growing their own chickens and food and stuff and just selling it to their friends for cash, that kind of stuff, or
they don't care.
They don't care. Yeah,
there's a lot of horse trading going here. They actually have ferias here. It's called a feria. It's a flea market.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I thought you were talking about farriers with horses. No, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, like so.
Feria, feria, and that is an open market. It's a free market. There are no taxes there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the poor people's market. But I go there all the time. I guess I'm one of the poor people. I am, and I'm proud of that enough. But yeah, I like it. So you can buy fish, veggies, salmon. Yeah.
Is that all genuinely grown locally food or imported stuff?
Yeah.
Because one of the things I've come across in Romania, there's a lot of imported food here that's passed off as locally grown. You know, so you can go to the markets.
Bananas and pineapples are one of the few things I see that they import.
Yeah.
Everything else can and is grown here. So the rest of the world's getting really bruised and old or really hard, like baseball avocados. Ours are vine ripened and they're in your store. Mm-hmm. So they grow a lot of that. We're independently wealthy country when it comes to production of our own food, including meats.
Next and final topic for this video is property rights. So what I mean by that is, how easy is it to buy a property? What are the risks involved? If you want to build on your property, what's involved in planning and permitting and that kind of stuff. I'm not so worried about the cities. Most of the people that I'm talking to are interested in rural locations and things that are a bit off grid. So if you buy a couple of hectares of land in the countryside and you want to build on it and you want to own it personally yourself, what's involved? Mm-hmm.
If you're an immigrant to Chile or a tourist, you can buy land and you have all the rights a Chilean citizen has to that same land. They're very strict about that, and they're very proud that they offer really strong property rights to landowners. Why? Because in the 1970s, when they had a coup, they expropriated a lot of private property, and when that was that socialist government was overthrown, they came out of it saying, we will never take property from individuals again. And they don't care if you're a resident or a tourist, you can own real estate here. But there are some precautions, because there's thieves everywhere.
Yes.
So
what
an
I
important
would
factor there would be is there's no licensing for real estate agents in Chile.
Yeah.
So it's the Wild West. Any contract or any property that you purchase, the contract has to be written by an attorney, and you really want him to look at the documents of the property, because there's some properties that have weird ownership, like indigenous people, and they're not allowed to sell the property, but they'll sell it to you, but you won't own it, and they'll take it. So be careful.
Okay, and what about building permits in the rural areas? If you want to build on your land, what's the deal with that?
Badges, we don't need no stinking badges, man.
No what, sir?
Permits. They don't have permits. They don't have any of that here.
Yeah.
In the cities, they do, but we're not talking about there.
No, but in the countryside, you just build what you want. Yeah. Okay.
There's a little intrigue in there. You can go register your property with the local government. It's called being inscribed. They will tax you. So I had friends that had 20 acres or 10 hectares, 24 acres, 10 hectares, and they paid $90 a year in property tax for their 2 houses with a swimming pool, fenced barn, the whole thing, and that's not a bad tax. Property tax. I personally, I'm not registered, and I have agricultural use property, so I do not rent my property from the government.
And remind me where you were from in the US and why you chose Chile.
I'm originally from South Carolina, upstate South Carolina, Spartanburg, Boiling Springs to be exact. My parents had a cattle farm there, and I had a catharsis or a change of perspective in life in 2007 that made me aware that life's not about money. It's about your time you have with your family, and it's about living more free and more cleanly. And we do that here.
Yeah.
And there's no.
But how did you find Chile? What drove you? Because I had something in England, and I moved to Romania in 2001. And there's similar thinking, similar ideas, just wanted to make a completely fresh start. And I discovered Romania by chance and kind of got a bit lucky, to be honest, because it's one of the best countries in Eastern Europe. And I was curious how you discovered Chile, that was all.
Well, we were members of a dinner club, and other members would go throughout the world actually looking at different properties. I knew I didn't want to go to such a strong cultural shift that I wouldn't be able to ever even partially assimilate. So I didn't look at the Middle East because the language barrier, or Turkey, or the Eastern countries like Taiwan or anywhere in there. Australia was just too many things wanted to kill me there. New Zealand was too expensive. So then we ended up looking at South America, and some of our members of our dinner club back then in the late 2000s. We're already living here. We actually visited Uruguay twice, and we ran into a gringo there, a North American guy, who was going to sell or rent me a house, and he said, I wouldn't rent it from me. I said, you what? Why are you telling me that? There's no advantage to that. He said, I would go to Chile. I said, why not Uruguay? He said, Uruguay's on the way down. And it was, and it continues to be. And Chile's on the way up. Chile has a more stable government, less corruption. And I need to point out something with the corruption. When you deal with corruption in Argentina and Uruguay, and they're very symbiotic countries, okay? You're not just dealing with the corruption on the government level, you're dealing with corruption in perspective of that's a societal norm. So you can't do business or have your house built. I want my septic tank dug. Okay, well, I'll be out there tomorrow. Where are you? I'm not here. You got to pay me another $50 and then I'll come.
Hmm.
That's corruption. You can't. That would frustrate me so bad because I don't like operating that way. That
Hmm.
does not happen in Chile.
Hmm.
It's not a societal norm here to bribe people or coerce them financially to give you services that they should be giving you. That's not to say we have good service in Chile. It just means we ain't getting bribed out of or hoodooed out of.